When two souls are in love, this is what worries us. When two souls are truly in love, it is never simple. It is never light. And it is never just about happiness. Because soul love does not come to entertain you, it comes to transform you. And transformation always carries worry. Not the kind of worry that comes from doubt or weakness, but the kind that comes when something matters too much. When two souls are in love, what worries us most is not losing the other person. What truly worries us is losing ourselves in the process. The fear of being seen too deeply. When two souls connect, masks fall. And that is terrifying, because for the first time, someone doesn't just see your smile, they see your silence. They don't just hear your words, they hear what you're afraid to say. Soul love sees the childhood wounds, the unhealed heartbreaks, the parts of you you've hidden even from yourself. And that's when the worry begins. What if they see too much? What if they discover who I really am and leave? Because when someone sees your soul, you can no longer pretend. And that vulnerability feels like standing naked in front of destiny. The fear of timing. One of the deepest worries in soul love is timing. Because souls often recognize each other before life is ready. One is healing. One is awakening. One is still trapped in fear. One is learning how to love themselves. And you ask silently, why now? Why did we meet if we can't be together yet? Soul love doesn't always arrive when life is convenient. It arrives when growth is necessary. And that creates an ache that logic cannot explain. The fear of distance, even when you're close. When two souls are in love, distance isn't always physical. Sometimes you're talking every day, yet you feel miles apart. Sometimes you're in the same room, yet your souls are screaming to be understood. And this worries us deeply, because soul love doesn't fear loneliness. It fears misalignment. The fear that one soul may grow faster. The fear that one soul may pull away. The fear that silence might replace connection. And when silence enters soul love, it feels louder than words. The fear of losing control. Soul love strips control away. You can't plan it. You can't force it. You can't escape it. You think about them when you don't want to. You feel them when you're trying to move on. You sense their emotions without explanation. And that loss of control worries us. Because the mind wants certainty, but the soul operates on trust. And trust is terrifying when you've been hurt before. The fear of repeating old pain. When two souls are in love, old wounds resurface. Not to punish you, but to heal you. Yet healing hurts. You start noticing patterns. Fear of abandonment. Fear of rejection. Fear of not being enough. And you worry, what if this ends like the others? What if loving deeply only brings pain again? But soul love doesn't come to repeat your past. It comes to break the cycle. Still, the fear remains. The fear of loving more. In soul love, balance feels fragile. You wonder, am I loving more than they are? Am I the only one feeling this deeply? And that imbalance worries you, because loving deeply has cost you before. But here's the truth most people don't realize. When two souls are connected, love doesn't always look equal, but it feels reciprocal in ways words can't measure. Sometimes one soul carries the love while the other learns how to hold it. The fear of letting go. Soul love creates attachment, not unhealthy attachment, but soul memory. You don't just miss the person, you miss who you were with them, and that's terrifying, because letting go feels like losing a part of your identity. So you worry, if this ends, who will I be? But soul love never leaves you empty. It leaves you expanded. Even if the person goes, the awakening stays. The fear of change. Soul love changes you. Your values shift. Your priorities change. Your tolerance for shallow connections disappears. And that worries us, because growth often separates us from people, places, and habits we once loved. Soul love asks, are you willing to become who you were meant to be, even if it costs you comfort? And not everyone is ready to answer that. The fear of surrender. The biggest worry in soul love is surrender. Surrendering expectations. Surrendering outcomes. Surrendering timelines. because the soul doesn't rush. It unfolds, and surrender feels like jumping without knowing where you'll land. But soul love doesn't ask you to fall. It asks you to trust the wings you're growing. Why these worries exist? These worries don't exist because something is wrong. They exist because something is real. Surface connections don't create fear. They create distraction. Soul connections create fear because they touch truth. And truth demands courage. What two souls are really learning. When two souls are in love, the real lesson is not about possession. It's about patience, faith, emotional maturity, self-love, spiritual growth. You're learning how to love without control, how to stay open without losing yourself, how to trust even when the path isn't clear. The silent agreement between souls. Two souls don't promise each other perfection. They promise growth. They promise to trigger each other, not to hurt, but to heal. They promise to challenge comfort zones. They promise to awaken truth. And that agreement is why the journey feels heavy at times. But it's also why it's sacred. The truth that calms the worry. Here is the truth that quiets every fear. If two souls are meant to walk together, no misunderstanding can destroy it. If they are meant to part, no force can hold them. Soul love is guided by something higher than fear. And what is guided by destiny does not require control. Final message to the listener. If you are worried, it means you care. If you are afraid, it means this connection matters. But remember, soul love doesn't come to break you. It comes to build you into who you were always meant to be. Whether they stay forever, or walk with you only for a season, the love was real, the lesson was necessary, and your soul is stronger because of it. Welcome to Psychology Fact. If you're curious about the hidden truths of the mind and heart, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon, so you never miss a fact that could change the way you see life.